I represent Lawrence County Correctional and also Robinson. I'm on the periphery of Danville. What I learned last year on my trip through Lawrence and Robinson was beyond eye-opening. And let's start with the mailroom, where the scanner that's supposed to prevent weapons from coming in the facility was non-functional. And we asked the mailroom clerk how long it's been out. She says it's never worked. Now, before you think about those weapons coming in as something that can be used against the guards and the staff, which of course it can also be used against the other inmates. But let's talk about the guards and the staff. Let's go to Lawrence County. And a guard, 3 guards actually, stabbed brutally by a shank by an inmate who never, ever, ever should have been placed in general population with anyone. And in fact, the local review of the warden recommendation for placement was overruled by Springfield. Time and again, placement decisions where local wardens and staff quite literally have their necks on the line are overruled by Springfield. Now let's talk about the drugs. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Lawrenceville, we could smell smoke. Terry was there, Representative Niemerg was there. We're standing in the middle of the ward and you could smell the smoke. No, nothing to see here. There's really nothing to smell here, except it was right there. Talked to one of the guards on the side outside of the earshot of the wardens and his higher ups. He tells you wait till nightfall and it's purple haze. Direct quote. No, I'm sorry. Purple haze, something out of Thunderdome. That was the actual quote. Now let's talk about last week, the inmate who was life flighted out of Robinson, which is, by the way, is medium security for an overdose. Life flighted. But then when the men and women who work there get accidental exposures, they're told, no big deal, you're making it all up. And they get driven home, not to the hospital, they get driven home in personal vehicles. For all of you who care about inmates, how about the one who died last year in Lawrenceville from a fentanyl exposure? How about the 18-year-old kid that went in and came out with literally his head kicked in, caved in, to the point where they had to remove his skull, and the rest of us taxpayers got to foot the bill to keep him on life support for the 18 months after which he lived until he passed away while he was in a vegetative coma. I've never seen anything like the Department of Corrections. We have a duty to the men and women who work there to keep them as safe as possible when they're discharging their duties in a really, really, really tough environment. But quite frankly, if you are at all a Christian, you also have a duty to the people who are in your care and custody. And whatever happened to that kid, he didn't get a death sentence, but that's what he got. Whatever happened to the guy in Lawrenceville, fentanyl death, that's what he got. But you cannot have a situation where time and again, the wardens and staff who have their literal necks on the line, 3 of them stabbed in the same incident by the same guy. 3 of them. Because the local control decision was overturned by the administration. Again and again and again, the operational decisions of the very people who are on the front lines, know the inmates, know the people, know what's safe, know what's not safe, are being overturned by Springfield. If you have a conscience at all, you should vote no on this appointment. I could not in good conscience vote for this. It is unbelievably scary what's going on. When you got minimum security, those are people who are going to be out in 18 months, and instead they're getting life flighted out. There's a real problem. If you have a conscience at all, you will not vote for this nomination.